Rated E for everyone. Game reviews. You know, gamer fans, I started my reviews with this horrible game, one of the worst of its kind. Then I reviewed this decent. And then I reviewed this horrible remake of a great classic. But speaking of that, while I've narrowed down some of the bad games and decent games, what about the great games? Like, where the Sonic series began? Like, what made it so likable in the first place? Well, I'm about to talk about how this game started all and what was so great about the series. Welcome to my series of reviews called Sonic Flashback. Let's start by recommending some games to download on the Virtual Console. When I was about 6 years old, I remember watching this commercial of this old lady who seemed to hate Sega Genesis games, and she was complaining about this new one, and there was this picture of this cool blue-looking character who was looking at her and just mocking her, and then just at her, and she just got all angry. And it's pretty much interesting. I mean, he looked like a really cool character. Then I went to a CompUSA and I saw his game. Like, everyone was lined up in front of a Sega Genesis, and I felt like trying to try it out, and when I played it, it was something new and innovative to me for platformers. I mean, it had this new sense of speed that I never really got in platformers, and it was implemented really well into the game, and I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. So after I played the game, I begged my parents to get me a Sega Genesis, which they eventually did, and I just played this game all the time at home. So, to those of you who are new to this game, let me explain a little bit about it. One thing even people of today may be familiar with, you have to collect rings to prevent yourself from dying when you get hit. And if you can hold 50 of them up to the end of the stage, you can jump through a giant ring to enter the Special Zone. In the Special Zone, you have to navigate yourself through a rotating world to get to the Chaos Emerald. If you can get all 6 Chaos Emeralds in the game and beat it, you get the true ending. But if you beat the game without all 6 Chaos Emeralds, you do not get the true ending. So getting to the end of the level with 50 rings isn't always easy, but hey, that's what makes this game so much fun. If a game was easy, it would suck. The only thing I really need to explain control-wise is that when you push down while you run, you can do a spin attack. When you jump, you also do the spin attack too, and spinning is your main method of attacking. The game is made up of 6 zones, and each zone is made up of 3 acts. In Act 1 and 2, you have to get to the signpost, and if you have 50 rings, jump through the giant ring. And in Act 3, you have a battle against Dr. Robotnik. The game will get more challenging as you get to each new zone, but I feel the game where it really gets interesting is when you get to the zone with water, Labyrinth Zone. Unlike Mario, Sonic can't swim in water, so the challenge there is to see how long you can go without breathing. However, there are air bubbles in the water, so if you can get to them, then you'll be able to recatch all your breath. One last thing in gameplay is this glitch with the spikes. While other enemies just make you flash temporarily, when you touch the spikes, you're gonna die instantly if you touch them twice. Other than gameplay, I'd say the music's pretty memorable, the graphics are pretty good, and the challenge is pretty spot on. So, if you're looking for a good game, I recommend this for a download on your Virtual Console. Next game, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Okay, as the sequel to Sonic 1, has this game just surpassed the expectations of the first game? Absolutely not. But is it a terrible game? Absolutely not either. This game is great. I just don't find it as good as the original, but let's get on to positives first. For one thing, our favorite two-tailed fox Tails debuted in this game, and using the second controller in one-player mode, you have the ability to control him along with Sonic, which is really helpful in boss battles. The engine and gameplay is the same as in Sonic 1, except there's a new feature, the Spin Dash, which is one of my favorite new additions. The game has a versus mode so 2 people can have even more fun. It had some new challenging 3D special stages where if you got all 7 Chaos Emeralds, you could become Super Sonic, which is another thing gamer fans of Sonic may know of today. You just need 50 rings, jump, and there you go. You become like a Super Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z, you can jump higher, and you can run faster. Well, I've stated the positives, so now let me state the negatives. The level design is just a little too straightforward. I mean, all you really have to do is just push right and just jump a lot. It doesn't really have that same exciting, challenging feel the first one did. With star posts being the entrances to the special stages when you have 50 rings, with them just being placed everywhere, it just makes getting the Chaos Emeralds a little too easy. If you don't want to become Supersonic but you have 50 rings and have to jump, you don't have a choice, so becoming Supersonic isn't really a choice to you. That's another thing that bothered me. Also, getting the Chaos Emeralds doesn't really change the ending, so no matter who you play as, the ending's always going to be pretty much the same. The only thing that's different in the ending with Supersonic is that you end the game with Supersonic, but if you don't get all the Chaos Emeralds, you end it with normal Sonic, but the ending is always the same. You can play as Tails alone, but his gameplay is exactly the same as Sonic's. Getting the Chaos Emeralds as him doesn't do anything, it doesn't make him super, and it doesn't change the ending in any way, so pretty much everything when you're playing as Tails is just kind of a waste of time. And finally, a few stages like Mystic Caves and Metropolis Zone have some design flaws or whatever that just make you have to say, what were they thinking? Yes, and I know you hear the angry video game nerds say that a lot, but I mean it. What were they thinking? I mean, they have this pit with spikes, and if you're Supersonic, you just have to wait, so why not just make it bombless? At least that way you could just die quickly, because there's no saving yourself. And also in Metropolis Zone, you bounce up against these things, it seems more like a glitch, and there's no escaping it, so you have to wait till the timer runs out to die. What were they thinking? But the negatives aren't so bad that it makes it a bad game. It's still a great game. And a few last positives I have to say are, it has some great boss battles, better than the first game, outstanding graphics from the first game, and a great soundtrack. I'd say, if you have any game to download on your virtual console, get this one as well. I have one more game I want to show you. Tom, please send me a Wii Points code. What did you do?
Sorry, Specs, I kinda spent them.
Tom, you know I need those points to download a game to review!
I'm sorry, but I really wanted to download Ninja Gaiden and Contra 3!
Never mind, I'll just use this. Sonic Spinball, the first Sonic game made exclusively in America. Some would say this game sucks, I say it's okay. The story is, Eggman made this Vego fortress and Sonic has to infiltrate it and has this pinball defense system. Let's look into it. Well, basically you're just playing a giant action pinball game, and you have to try to beat the level. I mean, the controls are a little tedious at times. I mean, it's somewhat fun, it has the pinballish feel, but the controls to really get where you want to go can be tedious and unresponsive at times, I'll admit that. Your goal is to collect Chaos Emeralds to open the boss room. The first one's pretty easy to get in the first level, and the next two you have to pull down a bunch of levers and bust a bunch of barrels and worms to get to them. And then you can go face the first boss, which is pretty easy, yeah. Level 2, Lava Powerhouse, I think I have to say is the most tedious level in the game. It's my least favorite. Going up these steam things is a pain, trying to get this cork open is a pain, and the boss battle isn't really that much fun. I mean, it's okay, but it's not as fun as some of the later bosses. Level 3, the machine is what I consider the best level in the game. It has these interesting mazes and puzzles you have to solve, and a few other things, and the boss battle is pretty okay. The last level, Showdown, is the hardest and the most frustrating, and to be honest, I've never beaten it. The bonus stages are kind of cool, and it's also notable saying that this is the only Sonic game that has characters from the SatAM TV series. The soundtrack is a little generic. I mean, some may like it, some may not, and I think it's okay, but it's not the best. Overall, this game is okay. You may like it or not, but give it a chance. Well, finishing this up quickly like Sonic would, if you're a Sonic fan or an old-school gaming fan, I'd say go and check out these games. This was back when Sonic was in his golden years, and back when many of his games were the best. So Tom, ratings please.
Alright, Spax. I give Sonic 1 a 9.5 out of 10. Sonic 2 gets an 8 out of 10. And finally, Sonic Spinball gets a 6.5 out of 10.